What's going on, everybody? We got episode 46 today of Putting You in Your Place. I'm introducing you guys to Logan Brown. Logan is our new employee. He's helping us. He's our new producer. He's taking over for Sky and where he left off, and we're super excited to have you, man. And I just wanted to bring you on and introduce you to everybody and really just document for me, the beginning of our journey, and so let's just get into it, man. Welcome to the team.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. I'm super happy to be here. This is a different career opportunity for me to be able to step into something and fill. I mean, it's some big shoes to fill with Sky, but you guys are a really cool, tight knit, tight-knit community thing here, and I'm definitely excited to hop on board. And you guys have been super welcoming so far, and I'm excited to see where we go.
We definitely are excited for the new energy. We just need an injection, an injection, right? That's a trending thing right now, right? We just needed that. We needed an injection of new energy here in this organization to take us to the next level. And I think even the couple weeks now that you've been here, it's clear that you and Weston are going to work well together. I think y'all mesh well, and it's been exciting just to see what's going on in 2 weeks, and the ideas that are flowing through here and things like that. So I'm really excited. So let's just back up for a second. Let's get into who you are, because really, the whole hiring process and everything, I let Weston take that on.
Yeah.
And I don't know a lot about you, as much as I would like to. So let's just get into it. Tell us who you are, where you're from. Are you a local NRV guy, or how'd you come to the NRV? Let's just get into that.
All right. Well, of course, my name is Logan Brown. I am a lifetime resident here of the NRV. I've been in the NRV since I knew I was alive, I guess.
Right.
I grew up here.
So you were raised in the New River Valley.
I was, yes.
Gotcha.
And I live in Radford currently, but I grew up in the Bell Spring area. If anyone knows where that is, extra points for you out there if you know where that is, because it's way out, sort of in the back sticks.
So you're a Pulaski County guy.
Yep, I graduated from Pulaski County High School 2016.
2016.
And went to Radford University for 3.5 semesters. 3.5 years. I had a semester because of some dual enrollment stuff from high school. But I studied media studies, so kind of what we're doing around here. Like the video cameras, the audio equipment, all that stuff. It's always been something I've been interested in since I was young. Getting into I always basically ever since I was like 4 or 5, I've had the TV on as long as I can remember. Because that's always something that's always drew my interest. Video games were a big part of that too, and I'm a huge gaming guy. If you around the office, I'm the video game guy.
Right on. So what's on the console right now?
Well, like the Call of Duties, the Minecrafts, all that stuff. It's trending,
Fortnite, that type stuff.
All that. That's who I am. I've always just. Ever since I was young, I remember back in the old days when my parents would want to watch TV. We had the one TV in the living room, and I'd have to get off so my mom could watch the soap operas that would come on every day.
Yeah, for me it was the Price is Right, or Young and the Restless, stuff like that.
Yeah,
or Jeopardy and Wheel and Fortune. I couldn't be playing the video games during Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. I had to get off at that point.
So you kind of grew up with some games too, then, right? Were you like Nintendo guy? Atari
I was like 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years old when the original Nintendo came out, the Mario, the Duck Hunt type thing.
Yeah.
So we started there and progressed with Donkey Kong, and Street Fighter was big.
Oh man,
the first generation Street Fighter. So we we were the first generation gamer type thing. Well, maybe not. Maybe the Atari, that was the first generation kind of thing. But, it's when it hit mass popularity,
right?
Everybody had to have a Nintendo,
in their homes instead of the arcades and stuff. I'm always been interested in the history of it too. I love the classic stuff too. I've actually got a lot of the old systems too. You can't really use them on a lot of the new TVs anymore, but
right.
I've really enjoyed being able to see where they've progressed.
Did you see the little mini ones that they come out with the HDMI cable that come preloaded with like 30 games on them?
Yeah.
Dude, I bought a couple of those just for like I thought that was going to be like a collector's item one day, and I just got them in their box and never opened them.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. I mean, they might not be worth anything, but I just thought it was a cool nostalgic thing to have this packaged up. It looked the same. It had, Tecmo Super Bowl. I was like, dude, I'm going to be Bo Jackson on Tecmo Super Bowl. Like all that stuff. So
yeah, I picked up that Super Nintendo one they came out with a few years ago, and I've played that a few times, and those things are really neat. That was actually probably the first game system I remember playing was a Super Nintendo. My dad and them had that, and so we were playing like we'd play like the old fighting games, the Mario and all that on there. Like it was always that was always my comfort zone is the games and stuff. So but, I didn't really want to go into programming and stuff. Like, I would love to design games. There's a lot that goes into it. You've got your programming people that make the characters do stuff. You've got the people that design the characters. You've got people that, make the music and stuff and draw everything. So, like, it's really, there's a lot of disciplines that go into that.
The storytelling part of it, that's where you fit in, right?
That's a huge part of it. I love being able to tell stories.
Yeah.
And I love how games can do that too. And, being able to tell that through like a camera lens and stuff is really important to me. So I've always kind of, like I said, I never really got into the programming part of it because it's I was never bad at math or anything, but I always enjoyed, being able, I've always enjoyed the way things look rather than the mechanics part of it. So that's what drew me into the TV, the media part of it. I actually I worked in radio for 2 years before I got into this.
Yeah.
So
tell us about your time at the Bear, right?
The local NRV stations. 105.3 The Bear. That was a surreal experience for me because I love music. I grew up actually listening to like a lot of country music, like older stuff. That's what my dad and them played in the car a lot. So, it's generally what I grew up with.
Right.
And then
the Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson type stuff.
Toby Keith was a big part of it too,
Right.
And so then eventually I got into, this all comes back to video games. I got into the old Guitar Hero, where you had the plastic guitar, controller. Got into rock music through that. And so naturally I found the Bear, which is the rock station. And shout out to them.
Yep. Shout out to Drez.
Hey, yep.
My buddy.
And they, I would go to bed like it was around like 10 o'clock every night. They would have. I got into listening to a lot of Metallica. That was that was the big thing for me. Huge. I'm a huge Metallica fan.
Yeah, definitely.
You'll see me in a few Metallica shirts around here, I'm sure.
Nice.
But they, the Bear would do something called mandatory Metallica. 10 o'clock every night. I'd make sure I was in bed till I turn on the radio and listen to that before I went to sleep. They would play about 2 to 3 Metallica songs on there. That was my bread and butter.
That's hilarious. Like you wouldn't think that Metallica would be the type of music that would want to put you to sleep. Metallica is the type of music that you would want to wake up to. You'd want that that rush of like energy that you would get from the Metallica. Like they're not singing lullabies.
No, they're not. But they're also not like screaming necessarily at you. It's a weird balance there. Yeah. So that was always something really cool. And to be able to work at that station, at that environment for a few years, that was really cool. And I got my start doing behind the scenes work, making sure stuff worked and everything. I would run the boards, the audio boards, kind of like what we have here for sporting events and stuff. And, for a lot of Virginia Tech games and stuff, that's where they were the flagship station for Virginia Tech sports. Yeah. I sound like an advertisement now.
Yeah, you hit that one right on. You hit that one right on.
I heard the advertisement playing in my head just now.
Yeah. But flagship station for the Virginia Tech Hokies. Yeah.
105.3 The Bear.
Yeah. Get it.
That was it. Yeah. It's actually kind of cool. The voice guy for that. Yeah. We actually looked up like the radio stations have. This is a side topic, but they have like those voice guys that have to do the really cool like sound effects and stuff.
Yeah.
That guy for the Bear actually does vlogs, and that's actually how he talks too. So to hear him talking,
so he never lets his radio voice go.
Basically, no, that's the way he is.
Yeah,
that's really cool. But yeah, going back to the what interested me there is, so after I kind of got done with the running the boards and everything, they kind of started letting me do some DJ work on there. So I got to get on there and actually do a lot of, talking in between songs and, taking some requests.
So they let you be a personality on live air.
Yeah.
Nice.
And, for the most, going live is always a really cool part of it.
Yeah.
Because you get that interaction. You are talking in kind of like the live streaming stuff. You are talking to somebody in real time in their car, and they are listening to you. There's a lot of people out there that are tuning into that stuff. A lot of people like to stream music, but there's also a lot of people that still like to listen to the radio. They like to kind of let the radio pick what they listen to, which is always kind of nice too. I was like that for a while.
For me, this live stuff that we do, it puts the proper amount of pressure on me to deliver, because I know I'm getting scrutinized in the moment. Like a lot of people don't want that pressure, but it's come to like I'm accustomed to the pressure, and that's the only way that I can deliver is on live. We probably could do this that's not live, and make sure that it's edited really clean and everything like that. I just don't know that it would be as authentic. Yeah. And that's why, we've got 56 or 46 shows in this thing now, and I couldn't imagine doing it any different.
Right.
Just because, when the lights are on, I feel like I can't drop the ball, and it's easy to drop the ball. And you have excuses to drop the ball if we're off live, we can just redo that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, there's less pressure. There's when you're doing that and editing and everything. And that's actually something too. So it's funny you mentioned that with the live thing. So eventually I also did the country stuff too on the country station for it's a WPSK. Mm-hmm. So that was actually pretty cool too. Of course, a lot of the country stuff nowadays isn't exactly my bread and butter, but that's aside from the fact. It was still a cool opportunity, and the Bear was really what I was really just completely starstruck to be on,
Right.
And meeting Drez, mentioned him and stuff there. It's really cool to meet the guy that you hear on the radio that. And so I was on there mostly on weekends. Eventually they put me on middays, so it was 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So I was doing that kind of lunchtime drive time on the radio. And then eventually, it was before or even that, I was hired on full time over there to produce a sports talk show. Now, for me, I'm not a sports guy,
right?
So it must have been I must have been able to make something sound good, I guess, for them to put me on there. But I kind of provided the layman's terms for a lot of the sports mumbo jumbo they were throwing out there. So
you were the common no real depth of knowledge, basic type sports information thing.
Yeah, so it kind of forced whoever was on the other side of the table from me, who was really the host of the show. It kept them, grounded. Kept them. The dynamic there kept it to where, if this were like a real estate show and you were just throwing out crazy real estate facts and I was also a real estate guy, that would work. But for me, if you're trying to have a conversation with me, being able to explain that in common terms to somebody who doesn't have a huge base knowledge of it is really important. And that's what drew a lot of people into the sports shows. And eventually it got moved to the mornings. So I was waking up 5 a.m.,
Brutal.
Going in there 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. doing that sports show in the mornings. We were up before the sun back, pretty much. So that was a cool thing as well. So like you said, since you're doing it live, you are held accountable for it. You can't go back on something you say on there. I mean, you can apologize, but you still said it.
Yeah.
And that's what, you don't, it's really authentic in that way. You don't get that local content anywhere else, especially something like this as well. There's a lot of room, just to really grow and expand something, because you don't get that. You really don't. You can go on a podcast on a national scale or something. Sure, you're going to get cool content, but you're not going to get something that's your hometown. This is something regional. You are, this is exclusive to this area. Yeah. And I think that's really special about this here is this is something that can really, really has a lot of potential.
I mean, if we're not the only one doing this, I want people to come out of the woodwork to say, hey, we're doing this too. This is an avenue of where I would be willing to support other people that are trying to do some of the same things we are, because we would want to bounce ideas out. We would want to cross collaborate with people that are trying to do the same thing. I just don't think that there's anybody else out there in the New River Valley trying to do what we're doing. I just don't. I don't think that there's anybody out there that's this organized, that has this thoughtfulness around what we're actually trying to accomplish. So, like, you know, I hope that's encouraging. I hope you're like super pumped that like we're this far along, and now we put you in this position and we can just rocket ship, you know, to the moon, they say, right? Like, let's just take this thing to the moon. Right.
Yeah. And it's also, you know, like it's what me and Weston were talking about there. Shout out to Weston back there. Say hi, Weston. Come on.
How's it going?
Hey, we got a segment with Weston here. We're going to kind of get into some collaboration here, you know, on like how Weston came to, you know, hire and things like that. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
But it's been really cool getting to like bounce off ideas from him there, because he's really skilled in photography and stuff. And like I bring to the table the production experience of working a live show and stuff. You know, we didn't have the video part of it, but that's where a lot of his knowledge could come in as well. And I have a lot of that from school too. Yeah. So it's been really cool to be able to work with him. We've got some really cool, exciting stuff that we've added on to like some videos that you'll see on the channel here. Honestly, in the next couple of days, like you'll really start to see some new content out there, and you'll start to see we're kind of spicing it up a bit, so to speak. So like it's going to look really nice, and we're very excited to start rolling that out there. And we've done this in just like a week. So imagine a month from now.
Yeah,
that's what we're looking at,
and that's why I'm you know, I guess what would be in y'all's opinion a little overly ambitious. I don't necessarily think that there's ever such thing, but you know, to be practical and reasonable about it, you know, where we want to pop that bottle at 1,000 subscribers, right? You know, we think we can get that done by the end of the year, you know, and with y'all's help, you know, with the community's help here, you know, in our meeting yesterday, we said, hey, there's 100,000 people in Montgomery County alone. Why can't we at least get 10,000? You know, why can't you know, if people will take interest in what we're doing and help support us, you know, we'll pop that by August, you know, like really we could.
Well, it's one of those things too, you know, you want to set the really high goals for yourself. You want to set the really high goals, but you also don't want to go without, you know, out of the realm of possibility. I guess, you know, you said to the moon, you know, what's that really cliche phrase? It's shoot for the moon. If you miss, you'll land amongst the stars, right? So, you know, there's a lot of value in setting really high goals like that too. And I think, you know, with some work and stuff, we can definitely kind of get there. And this is a really exciting opportunity for me. And, you know, and also some of the other stuff we do around here as well, around the organization too, is really cool. So I'm stoked to be here. I'm very excited, and, you know, to be able to work with you on this. And it's an awesome opportunity.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and I think it is too. And I'm really, you know, I think if us three can maintain and do 100 shows together, like what this is going to be after 100 shows with this team is going to be pretty. It's going to be everything that we had hoped it would be after 100 shows. So yeah, man, I'm excited too. I'm really encouraged. You know, like I said, the injection of energy in the room has just went like, you know, I wear the 10X hat. It's probably like 100X from what it was, you know, and that's really exciting for me.
Yeah. And, you know, even before the show, we were having some really fun conversations, just laughing and goofing off. Like, that is what I look for in a place, too, when I go to work somewhere, is you want the people there that are going to just really uplift you and, you know, make you feel welcome. You know, a lot of jobs you go into these days, you just have that guy that tells you what to do. You don't really get to, like, talk to him. You don't really get to build those coworker relationships with people like that. You know, but it feels like we're all like, you know, of course, you're the guy in charge, you're the top dog, but, you know, it feels like we're all at the same time on some even playing field. You know what I mean? Well,
you know, the end goal here, you know, as you know, is an equity stake in whatever revenue we're bringing in. You know, like if you're as long as you're around, you know, I want to share whatever we can bring in. I want the opportunity for the people that come and support me and help me build to be able to generate whatever life they want, you know. And, you know, we see a $100 million contract go to Joe Rogan. I'm not expecting a $100 million contract anytime soon, but like that's possible. You know, Spotify cut him a check for $100 million. And, you know, there's there's these groups here. Shout out to NRV Homegrown, right? That's the name, NRV Homegrown. They have this coalition of 300 plus businesses that are a part of this group. This locally. This, NRV Homegrown, obviously the name tells you everything. It's local businesses that started here that do business here. So, like, these groups can help bring attention, and that's the game we're after right now. Like, we don't care what we get as long as we get attention. So,
well, yeah. I mean, at the same time, you want to have that compelling kind of content and things. And I think like bringing on those people, bringing on people around that have a lot of different experiences and viewpoints and things like a lot of, there's a lot of trending topics. I mean, you just go to Google and you see what the autofill is, and those are the trending topics of the day. You want to bring that kind of thing in, and you want to really kind of present that in a way that only you can, because this is, like I said, this is a local thing. Yeah. You're not going to get the same opinions somewhere else, you know. At the same time, you want to invite everybody in, I mean, I don't think you're the kind of guy that would shut down other people's opinions and things. I think,
I love dissenting opinion. I love the debate. Like I'm the type of guy that runs to the problem. It doesn't try to shy away or duck and cover because of the problem that's coming. Mm-hmm. I want to face things head on. So I do want to sit somebody that we have a clear disagreement on and debate them live. And if I lose, I lose. Like, I'm not like the most educated guy on any subject, other than maybe, the amount of real estate deals I can do probably beats the next guy. Like, there's only a few people in the New River Valley that can top my volume. But like, so I would have expert status against most people on how to grow a real estate business and sell homes. But on every other topic, if I bring an expert in to debate me, I'm probably going to get beat in some manner. I don't know that that'll change my opinion, but they can probably out debate me. But I want to have that. That's fun to me.
It is. And a lot of, what do most movies have? They've got conflict. So you can bring that kind of into this as well, into this this environment here. But you want to be able to walk away from it and be able to still shake hands afterward, of course. Like, it's friendly debate's never a bad thing. And the podcasts and YouTube and things are just it's weird. YouTube has been around for a long time, but it also just feels like it's brand new. It still feels like it's a lot of people are going to YouTube just for all their content and stuff nowadays. And to be able to kind of if you can be able to get a stake in that, that's a huge deal. Because if you think about it now, YouTube, a lot of these big channels, like you talk about Joe Rogan and stuff, they're like their own TV stations now, basically. Like, they're basically they're like the TNTs and the CBSs and stuff of YouTube. So, they've got a big stake in it. Of course, it takes a long time to get where they are, but, if you can, consistency is very much the key thing here.
Yeah. And there's one thing that I will outpace everybody else in is patience and persistence. Like,
persistence is key.
That's one of my biggest qualities that I think I bring to the table is my willingness to always be there, show up, do. Like, it might not be great at first, but I get better with quantity. My quality comes from the quantity.
Yeah, and like looking at, and like a lot of times, like in my experience in radio too, you can, if I go back and listen to some of my old clips on like the country station, I sound like I'm like, I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking, I don't know what to do. But as I got further along, you can really realistically, you keep trying at something like that, like this as well, you can only get better. And I was looking back at some of the older stuff too, where y'all were in a different studio and everything. And, just seeing how it is right now is just like, I mean, you compare it to then, this is to the moon compared to what it used to be. And that's not a slight, against it, any of it.
Yeah.
This is a really nice setup you guys have here, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah. So big plans coming. There's going to be a little shift in the studio look after our break. We're coming up on a break in like 4 episodes. After our 50th episode, we're going to break for 3 weeks. We've got some plans to continue to bring out content at Tuesday at 2, but they're not going to be live shows for like a month until we kind of get some reorganization and level this thing up. So we're going to start, reminding you guys we're going on break here soon. But
yeah. And we've got some exciting, like I'm working on some, greatest hits, so to speak.
Yeah.
So looking back at some of the older conversations you've had on there, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool seeing some of the guests you've had on. So, like Dennis Haley, for instance, like that was a really interesting conversation. So definitely going to be looking into kind of seeing what we can do and kind of present that in a different way coming up here for the greatest hits and stuff. So it's definitely really exciting. And, even you might even notice too, like the consistent listeners or viewers. I'm used to saying listeners because of the radio thing, but looking around, like the lights, we actually, me and Weston were just really just moving a lot of these lights around here in the studio, and it was a monumental task, but we were able to like really kind of brighten up the room a bit. So we're, that's kind of an indication, we're brightening things up, not just in the room, just in general. We're bringing the energy. We're gonna really just we're gonna see what we can do for you, basically.
Well, I'm interested to see this on playback because the room is a lot brighter, and I'm just interested to see how aesthetically it looks. We've had, dialing this thing in, we've been all over the place, like I like to wear this hat. It shows the brand. I want that brand awareness when I'm walking through town. Oh, I've seen that. That's putting you in your place, guy. Like, like whatever. Like I want to display this merch situation, for people to be recognizing, the things that we're doing. And I'm just interested to see how this looks because for the longest time on the wide shot, we've been blown out. We've been, and it hasn't been consistent on the camera angles. Sometimes, like all you see is head. Sometimes when you point it over to me, and like I'm just interested to see the consistency that we can run with, in the future.
Yeah, and like that's another thing too. Like complete transparency. You're like your hat. You have like the bill on the hat there, so it kind of darkens your eye. It gives you a nice like brooding dark look.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a dramatic look.
Right.
But now you can actually see like your eyes a lot better now because we've moved around these lights. There's this one light that hangs like right up there. It is crazy bright. It's like we have a sun in here.
Right.
Just a miniature sun glaring down on us.
So I'm interested to see how that looks. When I get to come back and watch a replay and see how we did. And then now we got some interesting like new graphics at the end, right? We got like an end card that's going to have like other videos to watch and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, we've been working on that too. You'll see that on a lot of the YouTube side of things. Like it's we are so excited. Yeah. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to really brand it. We want people to know this is putting you in your place, and we want people to know. We're throwing that logo out on your hat there. We're throwing it everywhere. Yeah. Like we want people to see it. We want people to know because that's. Persistence, like you said, you're persistent, we all have to be persistent and, just consistency and things like that is key in this thing.
So let's transition into the hiring process here and how that went for you. And let's give Weston some credit, of finding this talent that we got here in front of us. So how did that experience go for you?
Well, the first thing I think when I first walked in here, I was really surprised. Like I honestly felt like I was overdressed for the interview.
Oh, you were definitely overdressed. You were overdressed.
But
how
sure. But at the same time, you see like a job listing for a real estate company. You're like, well, you probably want to dress nice, right? I went out and got a whole new dress shirt and everything. like for the second interview, like I wore like this really nice like green dress shirt.
And I come in something like this, right?
Yeah. First I walked in and I'd seen like a headshot of you before. Like it was just on the Google search when I was trying to find this place. But then I walked in and I was like I saw Weston sitting there on the second interview and I saw you sitting there and I was like, oh, that's probably just one of Weston's friends. And then I was like, wait, that's Scott. That was something else too. Like I like the casual atmosphere too. That's actually something else. When you work in radio, that's something else that was a similar thing for me is you don't really have to care how you look. Yeah. So like we're all just wearing T-shirts and jeans walking around there. We'll have someone come in and they'll be overdressed and we're like, wait a minute, you really didn't have to go that far.
Right. So a guest would come in like a suit and tie because they thought they were coming to something, right?
Yeah, or something like that, or like a guest or just like anybody or like business people would come in, they'd be dressed up super, super nice. It's like, well, we're not really doing that kind of thing here. Right. So that's really cool. I was shocked at just how personable you guys were and how like real life you guys are. Y'all are, a lot of people come across kind of fake. Y'all don't really cook or sugarcoat anything.
Yeah. And that's one of like when I write my story, I want it to be, I did it the way I wanted to do it. I went to bed when I needed to go to bed. I got up when I wanted to get up. I dressed how I wanted to dress. I didn't fit in the world's box. The world came to my box. Like the world bent to me. And that's the story I want to leave behind, is that you don't have to comply, you don't have to conform, and you can go be you, and you can still achieve your goal.
Yeah.
So I do things despite what the proper order is and the proper etiquette is, and how you should quote unquote should look.
Yeah.
I got this big red beard, and I show up to listing opportunities in this. I show up, I drive up in my Range Rover, and I come out and I start talking, and instantly they feel me. And that's all that it takes is that trust. It doesn't matter what you look like. If you can instill trust in people, you're going to be able to succeed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of times you walk out to some business thing, or you walk out to like an insurance place or something, and you got the people that are dressed up super, super nice, and you're like, you immediately feel like a disconnect between you and that person, because you walk in there, you're probably wearing, if you're a common person, you're probably wearing shorts and a t-shirt or something and some tennis shoes. You walk into a place like that, like to get like to, or to go like to your realtor or something, you go walk out there and you immediately feel like you're like, wait a minute, they're not on the same like field as me. But if you can kind of really make that connection with somebody, and I think that's what you're trying to do here with all this, with putting you in your place and stuff too, is let people get to know who you are and stuff, and really know their realtor. And that's an important thing, to be able to build the rapport. I haven't used that word in a long time. Yeah. Building a rapport with people is a really important thing.
Yeah. I like feedback I'd like to get customer feedback one day on like the initial first impression versus like the lasting impression. I think the lasting impression is what's more important than the first impression. So
yeah, like that's the thing. Like like I walked in like that second interview. I walked in like you were sitting there, and I didn't even think that was. I was like, that can't be the guy, right? Like is that Scott? So it was, the first impression's always like, whoa, okay, that can't be him, right? And then now it's like, oh, I'm like, that is him, and he's been able to be successful being him, and that's a cool thing. Yeah. That's a really good vibe to have, to be successful and not conform and change who you are. You've been able to break that mold, so to speak.
I hope I can encourage others to be inspired by that. And that's one of the things I'm after too, is like, I want to provide motivation and inspiration to people that have big goals. Like an NRV guy, a Christiansburg guy is doing this. Well, if he can do it, I can do it. That's one of the goals, is like, show people if I can do it, they can do it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where I want to end up. Like, I don't know what, my end goal is, so to speak, right now. But this is something that's really, it captures my interest and stuff, being able to work with, like, a good group of people and stay local, too, because, I'm still living around this area. So I don't know where I'm going to end up. But this is a very cool opportunity to be able to work with a platform like YouTube and stuff. Like, I've always, going back to my earlier roots, like video games, that kind of thing. That's big on YouTube. So like being able to just be able to work with YouTube and stuff is a really cool thing. Be able to put content out there for people to look at and enjoy. Of course, we're not sitting here playing like Duck Hunt or something, but we're providing something that's like a niche thing, and that's a really, it's like a magazine. Like certain people, specific people are going to pick up specific magazines. Specific people are going to find us and like get be really like interested in what we're doing, and that's a really cool thing, because the podcast and stuff is, being able to transition my radio stuff over to the podcast experience and stuff is pretty cool. And I'm just, like I said, like I'm very excited.
Weston, chime in here. Tell us the reason why, let's blow Logan up a little bit. Let's tell him the reason why he was chosen, and kind of where you thought like he kind of picked up where you may have, not had such, like y'all just kind of were going to be a good fit together? Like, let's talk about that a little bit.
I kind of chose Logan just because of his like experience that he had at the radio station, and also a thing that kind of like stood out to me on his first interview was he said that he wanted to be like a YouTuber or like a streamer one day, and like that's the same dream that I had when I started, which is like why we're so like passionate about doing this. So it's like I could already see that he was passionate about it and he had the experience. So I was like, and that like no one who came here before was like, I want to be this YouTuber kind of like, I don't know, like it was the same dream that I had, which is why I took this job.
Yeah, YouTube is really cool, and it's like because that's for me, being that kid sitting in front of the TV, waiting for my mom's soap operas to be off, being able to play games. If I was sitting there thinking to myself, if I could get paid to play a video game and get sponsorships and things, that's the dream.
Yeah.
Like that is like the cool thing. Of course, that is it's a huge investment of time and everything. But that there is like, if I had a dream, that right there is just crazy cool to me.
Pretty much what we're plugging you into is someone that's trying to already execute that, maybe not in a gaming situation, but trying to get attention around that platform.
Yeah, exactly.
So it made a lot of sense.
Which is really cool, and like being able to like see how it works too. Like I've learned a lot about how just the back end of YouTube works and stuff too, just in the first few weeks and things, being able to make things look pretty and stuff for people, and like that's an important part of it too.
Yeah. So do you think it's okay to just go into like what we're working on and like what we hope to layer on top of this show, because we obviously think that we've got to do other things on top of this to keep driving attention to us, for people to actually sit on here and watch us, right?
Yeah,
is it cool to get into that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And if there's anyone, like, not to take anything, like take the reins or anything, but if there's anybody out there that has any kind of suggestions, listener feedback and viewer feedback is always like super important, because like at the heart of it, right? You talked about this the other day. You care more about what the viewers are seeing on like through the live stream and stuff, like, because this is really, it's your show. But what am I wrong in saying it's the viewer's show?
It is. I want them to tell me what they want us to talk about. Like send us suggestions on who we need to talk with. Send us suggestions on somebody doing great things that's from the New River Valley. Let's get them on. We want customer feedback. We want viewer feedback. Mm-hmm. We want to be as good as we can possibly be, and we want to bring as much value to this community as we possibly can. So
yeah, that's the important thing too. That like the content's out on a variety of platforms too. So shoot us a message or something. This is an open invitation to everybody out there that's like watching and listening. Because that is an important step, is being able to really bring everyone together. Because I mean, hey, everybody that's watching this is like a small family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a really cool thing.
So we got the podcast, right? We got the one question show. We got the Nacho review, and then we're going to have the micro content that's just going to be blasting out every week, right?
Yeah, we're gonna try to find like the best like clips and things from shows, best conversations and stuff, and kind of putting that out there for you, so you don't have to, if you don't have as much time to sit down and watch the entire podcast, which you understand that, because sometimes people are working and everything, people are busy, so being able to find like Dennis Haley, if he's like talking about like what happened at UVA and stuff with him, like that was a big news story. It broke a few years ago. Being able to get that unfiltered conversation that you had with him a few weeks ago back on the podcast, we can put that out there in a small clip, so that way somebody can find it in 8 to 10 minutes, watch it and be done with it, and boom, they've been able to get some insight into what's going on, and being able to get their putting you in your place fix for the day, so to speak.
And even like a small clip from like a minute clip that you can put somewhere that can drive them, hey, for more of this, in the copy, more of this, go to our link tree and go to YouTube and watch the whole 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
So you said nacho reviews, right? So I got a question for you.
All
So
right.
what's your favorite? Like, what is the best? Like, well, I don't know. What's the best quality you look for in a plate of nachos? Because I
right.
can sit here and talk food all day.
All right, so one of my buddies asked me the same question: is what is the best nacho, right? And the best nacho for me, you know, you got to have a quality chip. You know, the chip is important.
Yes.
It's very important.
Yes.
The chip getting soggy is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to eat my nachos with a fork. I don't want to fork my nachos. So like the chips got to be good. The chip and cheese ratio, like you can't just glob the cheese on where it's like, you know, like you can't get to the chip and you got cheese all over your hand. Right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I want to be able to grab the chip without having like the gobs of cheese or the like if there's a protein on it falling into my hand or anything like that. Like I want it to be clean and crisp. I want there to be good ratios. Whatever protein, I'm not a picky protein guy. You know, pork, chicken, beef, steak, I don't care. Like just make it good proportion and like, you know, like I don't want to be done with the meat before I'm done with half the chips, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I want enough meat to grab the last bit of meat as I'm grabbing the last bit of chip. This is an art. This is an art. This is like this is very important. This is like, you know, as you get more into nachos, you'll understand. But that's all important. You know, some jalapenos, some sour cream. Like it's okay. Like you can throw that stuff on the condiments. You can throw that stuff on too. But the chip and cheese ratio and the quality of chips is the most important. So
I agree. Yeah. I mean, the quality of the cheese too. Like not just the ratio. The quality of that cheese has to be good too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you put shredded cheese on your nachos and that's the only cheese you put, that's not a nacho.
Like some people, I think, like will just put shredded cheese on their chips and like throw it in the microwave. Like you can't do that.
That is not nachos.
That's not.
That's melted cheese over chips.
Yeah, it's not elevated to nacho status.
Right.
So are nachos your favorite food?
That is my favorite food, and even though I don't partake as much as I used to because I'm more in the health and fitness. You know, I'm like looking for longevity in my life, and I can't pound 32 ounces of Dr. Pepper a day and eat nothing but nachos, unfortunately. So I kind of with this review show, I'm kind of trying to plan that around like my cheat day. You know, so like the Fridays will be my cheat day, and we'll go out and we'll review NRV, quality. Like we'll take this countrywide, maybe globally one day, like the Nacho review show. But in the infancy of it, we're going to go around to local NRV eateries, and we're not even gonna tell them. We're gonna come in unsolicited. We're gonna have our camera, and we're gonna sit down, or maybe we'll get it to go, and we'll walk outside, and we'll do the one bite. Like the Dave Portnoy pizza review.
So the one bite's the important thing there for you.
Yeah.
So Well, that's really good because not everybody makes their nachos the same.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely not.
Oh, it's definitely different.
Like
there's totally different. Like I said, it's an art. Like if you just slap some cheese sauce on some chips, you're gonna get a low review. You got to go pick the right chips too. You can't get the store brand. I mean, no offense to store brand. If you're just trying to dip it in some salsa, it's fine. But if you're trying to make nachos, you got to invest in the good, like the paper bag brand or whatever that is, the fancy ones. Yeah.
Like you got to get the fancy tortilla chips for that.
Yep. And extra points if your chips are different colors. So if it's the standard and then the blue and then the red, then you got a little bit. You get a little level up there.
It's funny how the colored ones seem to taste better, even though they're the same thing, but they just seem to taste better because they're a different color.
Exactly.
You eat with your eyes first, is what they say.
Yeah.
It's like if it doesn't look good, you're not going to want to eat it.
Yeah. Hey, we have 5 senses for a reason. Taste, smell, sight. That's all important. The delivery of your product is important. If you've heard me talking about real estate, you've heard that the packaging is important. Well, in the nacho game, it's important too.
Bringing it around. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's an art form just like real estate, right?
So if your landscaping's not good in your home, it's not good. if your chips are soggy in the nacho game, that's not good. And you can tell by looking at them if they're soggy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah, that's going to be a cool thing to be able to go out there and do.
No doubt.
That's exciting. We'll get to see just watching you rant on nachos is going to be entertaining. That's going to be the show for us.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing, if the people that know me, like, intimately, like they're close to me, they know this about me. So I like to bring this to other people and let them know that about me too.
Yeah.
I think that's fun.
I'm a huge food guy. Like I could sit here, we were talking about this before we went on the air, but like I could sit here and talk food all day. I have a feeling you're the same way too. Like, I mean, food, they say money makes the world go round, but I mean, it's food. It's gotta be.
I'm a self-proclaimed food snob for sure.
See, I'm a snob about specific things. What's your biggest pet peeve about food? I just kind of get to know you a bit.
Pet peeve about food.
Yeah, what's something that just really gets under your skin when it comes to food?
That's a hard question. I guess it's just how it's served to me. Obviously I want it to taste good and look good and be appealing like that, but like the etiquette in which it's served to me, like going up to a drive-thru, and everybody's going up to a drive-thru right now, right? Because they can't go into the stores.
Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah.
So etiquette at the drive-thru is important. How you order, how they respond back to you, like when you ask for the ketchup and the sauce, there's one restaurant in particular that, if you go up to the window and you're starting to ask for the ketchups and the sweet and sour sauces and stuff like that, they're like, oh, you should have asked for that at the window or at the speaker.
Wait, they tell you that?
Yeah. Like,
no.
Hey, just tell us that at the speaker and we'll have it in the bag. And you don't have to tell it. That's not when you ask for the things, lady.
See, okay, so this is actually where so this might actually say a lot about me, but at those places with drive-thrus, a lot of times I'll ask for it at the window too, because sometimes they'll charge you like 10 cents or 15 cents for like the small ones. If you go to the window, what are they going to do? Like, oh, well, swipe your card again for 15 cents for your thing of ranch? No, we're not going to make you do that.
Right.
So another thing of mine about drive-thrus, I'm sure you've noticed too, they're never a consistent volume level. You'll go to one drive-thru and you'll be kind of sitting there and it'll make you jump because they're so loud. Like, what do you want? They're yelling at you. And it's like, you're just sitting there and you're like, like freaking out because you're scrambling now to figure out what you want because they just yelled at you.
Yeah. So I like, that etiquette is important to me at the drive-thru. So when I'm putting my order, the Dave's double with ketchup, mustard, cheese, large fry, cheese sauce, I want to get all that out and I don't want to have to repeat it. I don't want to have to repeat it, and I don't want them to interrupt me asking, like, let me get through what I'm getting through, and then hey, do you want anything else? No, I'm good. Or, oh yeah, give me a Frosty or something like that. Like there's an order to that. So the way that it's served to me is probably the most important.
I think one of the greatest inventions of the 21st century has to be the screens at the drive-thrus now. So you can see, so they hear you.
Yes.
So that way, if they mess it up when you get up there, it's on them.
Yeah.
So you can see okay, I wanted light ice. Because a lot of times I'll actually go and get light ice. That's a pet peeve of mine, actually. I order light ice on all my drinks because they just fill your cup up with ice and you barely get any soda.
Yeah.
So I always ask light ice. Sometimes I feel like they hear lot of ice, okay, and they just give me like 3/4 of a cup of ice and they give me barely any Coke,
right?
And it's just like, really, come on, man.
Yeah, like you would have been better to get a smaller sized drink because they couldn't have put that amount of ice in it, and the volume of soda you could have got would have been more.
Yeah, or you can also ask for no ice and you get the maximum amount, but then it gets cold or warm real quick.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Yeah.
You don't want the room temperature. I mean, it comes out of the machine cold, but you don't want it 20 minutes down the road and it be like hot soda. You don't want that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. They say there's like a science to the drive-through thing. I've never really thought about that.
Yeah.
I've always thought of, okay, nice drive-through person, not nice drive-through person.
Yeah. It's either well-trained drive-through person or not well-trained drive-through person, in my opinion. So if you've been in that for more than a week, you should have the cadence. It's a cadence thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, say this after they say that, and you know don't jump the gun, and don't, you know, like, you know, and just, you know, don't correct me if I'm doing something that I want. It's I get to have it my way, right? Burger King, like, have it my way, right?
Yeah.
So
They have no idea how much pressure they're under when you go through the drive-thru.
yeah, that's true.
If they just keep wearing the hat, they're like, "Oh, it's the putting in your place guy. We gotta tighten up, everybody."
Oh man. Well, hey, look, I think that's pretty. We got a good show, I think, there. Wrapping this thing up. Next we'k, who'd you say? I don't see that on the thing. What do we got next week going on?
Oh, my bad. I just, like, literally was just talking to this person today, so I forgot to put it on the outline.
Gotcha.
But his name is Blake Fletcher from Energy Check.
Cool. Yeah, this guy goes into your house and, like, tells you where you can be more energy efficient and make adjustments with insulation and things like that. I think, you know, one of the challenging things that I've got going on is that I'm bringing in a lot of people I don't know myself, you know, and I've got to get educated on who they are and try to deliver, you know, good quality conversation in the middle of our interview, right? Like,
yeah.
that has been that's been challenging at times. Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm excited to continue to grow as an interviewer and bring him on next week and talk to him, because I think a lot of people in the New River Valley probably could further understand their energy efficiency needs. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's
especially in Blacksburg.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
And it, you know, extends beyond like housing too. A lot of people are going to, like, you know, things like electric cars and stuff to be more like efficient and stuff. Just in general, like, I mean, that's a big deal these days. So that's going to be really cool to see what he brings to the table.
No doubt. All right. Well, we got 46 episodes in the can. What is our subscriber count right now? We got 257 subscribers. I don't think we picked up any yesterday.
Nope, I don't think so.
257 subscribers. We're on our path to 1,000. Help us pop this bottle you see here on the table. Shout out to New River Engraving. Love those guys. They provided the bottle. If you need a memento or anything like that, I'm gonna, you know, hey, we got to sell out here. We gotta go and get some advertisers. We gotta play this game. Like, we need to be able to make a way and earn income from this show. So any support that you guys can give us, share, like, comment, whatever you do is going to help the cause to get us to our goals. So please help us there and keep engaging with us, keep supporting us, keep telling your friends about us. Honestly, what we've created so far in 46 episodes is a library full of service providers that you could actually go and get things done with. Tax services, lawn care, landscaping, junk removal. We've got people that are trying to sell you books and inspiration and music. And, like, this is a library full of local NRV things and people that you can support. So go back in our vault, right? I mean, it's a vault of information here for people that can provide you something in the New River Valley.
Absolutely.
So I think there's no better way to end it than that.
Yeah.
Today.
Well, thanks a lot for bringing me on board.
Yeah, hey,
I'm excited to see where we go from here.
I'm excited to have you, man.
Yeah.
And thanks everybody. We're out. Episode 46. Thank you.